have nothing great to share today, other than nourishing yourself when you're sick is just as hard as nourishing yourself when you have all this information telling you how you should do that and choosing what's right for you when you don't know. If you do know, it can still be challenging, especially when life throws things at you, and one of those things is being sick. And who gets sick on their birthday? That's the first thing. Yesterday was my birthday, and I've been fighting this, whatever this is, for a week. And I decided I was going to show up on my birthday not sick, make the most of the day. Granted, I didn't plan anything big, grand, and it was perfect. And then I wake up this morning feeling worse. I didn't do anything, right? I went to dinner, I had good food, I didn't overeat, I didn't drink, I was taking medication anyway, and today just feels like not the greatest, and therefore appetite is crap. So I'm forcing myself to get something to eat. I'm gonna pick up some soup, and it occurred to me that while I wait for the soup to be ready, that I share these random thoughts that I have because I missed yesterday. That's the thing. I've been posting YouTube videos daily for the last 38 days, and I missed yesterday being my birthday because I had it in my head that I needed to set up the camera and it be perfect, meaning how I've been doing it. I set it up in my kitchen or in my office, and somehow missed the opportunity to just do it imperfectly, like I am right now, because I realized just now that I am probably gonna have the soup, go home and sleep, and it's not going to get any better as far as it being perfect, things being perfect, or things being ideal. Let me say that, because I'm not going to go home and sit down to set up the camera. I'm not going in the kitchen today, and so I'm sharing this. Nourishing myself when I'm sick is hard. For one, resting, like taking a nap, is just something I have started to include when I don't feel well or when I need additional rest. It was so hard for me to take a nap because I'm used to going on the go, and so much deconditioning needed to happen for me to get to the stage where, Shanik, you can take a nap, you can rest. And in embracing that, I also have to let go of trying to be quote unquote productive, because rest in and of itself is productive, and not every day is going to be a productive day, not every day needs to be a productive day, and this is a lesson I need to learn over and over, obviously. So in realizing that I'm not going to go home and set up a camera to share whatever it is I had on deck to share today, I decided while I wait for my soup to be ready, I will come and share these thoughts. So that's the first thing. Resting when you are sick is a non-negotiable. And I'm still learning that, or giving myself the grace for doing it sometimes, even though I don't do it all the time, and not being hard on myself for not doing it every single time. The second thing is nourishing myself through food is difficult when sick. It's bad enough when you have a busy day and you are fixated, or you get caught in work and you forget to eat. I never thought that would ever happen to me, but here I am. And you don't think about eating until your stomach or your body says you need to eat. That is bad enough, but to now have being sick where appetite goes through the window and you just want to sleep or rest or lie down, that's something now I have to then train. You have to then train yourself to give yourself some nourishment through food, because how else do you expect to get better? Your body needs the energy anyway, So even though it's doing the job to fight whatever it is and your appetite goes south, you need to eat. You need to find a way to nourish yourself. And which is why it's important to have a system or a plan overall that's in the back of your head that says, how best can I do this when I am not feeling my best? And my previous video of what if you stop trying to cook all the time, but instead find ways to nourish yourself that don't involve you cooking uh, when conditions aren't ideal or perfect. And being sick is one of those conditions. And so, low effort foods like cup soup, for example, if you don't mind the sodium, or if the sodium is not that big of a concern for you, that's one way. Ordering, some kind of soup or meal from a place that has food that agrees with you or food that you like, that's going to be supportive of your body. So I'm ordering a soup that has things like lemongrass in there, lots of garlic, as a way of not supplementing, adding nutritional value while my body is doing the job of fighting what it is fighting. And so low effort foods, takeout, because there's value in takeout. It's convenient when you're sick and unable to do these things. If you had some soup in one of those silicone cube things at home in your freezer, perfect time to take it out, drop it in a pot pardon me, and get that warmed up. If all you can handle is some hot ginger tea with some honey and some garlic, that's another remedy, country remedy for handling things like cold and flu, or having while you have a cold and flu. Have that with a slice of toast, or toast with some peanut butter or almond butter, or if you have some deli meat, slapping that between two slices of bread and have some soup. It's going to be better than nothing, because it's not the best thing when you don't give yourself nourishment. Because while you might not have appetite, especially for somebody who has had stomach issues in the past, you might try to rest, but then your stomach starts acting up, like you have gas pains or whatever signals come from your stomach to say, I've not had anything to eat. It's not going to make things better. In fact, it's probably going to, either cause flare-ups or it's going to make you feel worse. And so it's a deliberate act to feed yourself when you're sick. If you don't have somebody that can help you, or you don't have the support, I feel for that. And it's even more important now for you to recognize that if you don't take care of you, nobody else will. And that's always going to be the case, even if you do have support. It's something that I know, it's something that I encourage folks to sit with, not from a place of being isolated, but from a place of nobody knows you more than you do. And so this is my encouragement: to eat if you're sick. Force yourself to eat. I'm going to always be somebody. Force yourself to have something, a little bit of something at the very least, while you are sick, because your body needs that help. Your body needs that nourishment, in addition to you resting, of course. And then lastly, you getting better is priority. Right now, me getting better is priority, because I had a bunch of things scheduled for the rest of this week, which I just had to shift. Thankfully, when you work for yourself, that's something that you can do, of course. If when it comes to like client delivery and all those things, there are some understanding folks. So being able to shift things means that I can focus on getting better. When you don't work for yourself, then that might take some more, you might have more things to consider. But also, at the end of the day, if something were to happen to you and you can't go into work, you're going to be replaced. So again, the message stands. Nobody's going to take care of you quite like you, and so you have to make that your focus. So give yourself grace. You're not going to be productive while you're sick. Resting is going to be more productive. Uh, so if that means lying in bed and sleeping, that's what you do. If that means lying in bed or on your couch and reading, because that's the only thing you can do, you're not really focusing on anything, you're just engaged in a story, do that without the guilt, because that's the other part, the guilt that pops up, especially when you spent years with parents, but just being in a culture and an environment that says you should be doing something. And if you're Caribbean or Jamaican, like, you ever argue when you're picnic and your mother, just imagine, you have a day when you say you're sick and I want to go to school, but you choose to read, and your parents are going to come in and see you and read and say, oh, you can take up this a book, but you can't go to school, go take up book. Like, you're not sick then. It's almost as if you're either sick and unable to do anything, otherwise you're not that sick, or you're not sick enough to warrant lying down, or you're not sick enough to warrant missing school, you're not sick enough to warrant missing work. That if you're truly sick, then you shouldn't be able to do anything, when multiple things can be true at the same time. You can be sick and read at the same time. You can be sick and choose to sit down and watch TV. You're flipping sick. So that's a deconditioning that has had to happen. If you're Jamaican or Caribbean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you cannot tell your parents, or your parent can't ever know, say, you're sick, but then you show them you're doing something else. If you have back pain, you're supposed to can walk. If you have back pain, you're supposed to can get up and do anything. So deconditioning yourself from that means being okay with the fact that, okay, you might be sick, but you can still lie down and read. I personally sometimes will not fall asleep. So, like, me now, being sick that I am, I might have a slight headache, which means I won't necessarily watch the TV. And I will try to sleep, and sometimes the sleep might not come. And if you're in perimenopause, that's the other thing to consider. Sleep might not be something that comes easily, or something you can just drop into even when you're sick. And so what do? It might mean listening to something that's soothing, doing other things. That's just not what we call work. And so for me, that is the other part of, or that's the other thought. Focus on the resting. So I don't even remember what I shared, because, like I said, this is unscripted. This is not planned. I had no notes written down. I have nothing. I'm in my car. But I just wanted to share this imperfect moment of what nourishment can look like, what nourishment actually is when you're not well. I'm not well right now, even though my intention was to turn up all week and, celebrate my birthday. But I still have the rest of the month. But I wanted to share these things with you, that nourishment needs to look like what it needs to look like for you. Nobody else will understand it except you. So if you're sick, or if you found yourself at any point being sick, or if you're going through it now, or for the next time you might find yourself sick, remember, you need to eat. That's a non-negotiable. If you don't take care of yourself, nobody will. Or if you don't put your nourishment first, nobody will. And lastly, you deserve to rest and recover. Resting is productive. You don't have to be. You resting does not mean you are not productive. In fact, you resting is what's going to help you be productive when you do get back to work. And productivity isn't all there is to life, truthfully. And again, this is something that we all have to, I know I have to continue to unlearn. There are so many other aspects to nourishment and productivity, and how much you can produce, and what is the proof of you producing. It can burn you out. So the bonus thing is to remember that productivity isn't the end all be all. There are other pieces to you that will nourish you. So food nourishes you one way, rest nourishes you another way. other things nourish your creativity. Who knows, maybe you dream up some creative ideas while you're recuperating. Jot those down for when you get back to being productive. Then you can execute those ideas. Uh, being whimsical. Something I've been embracing of late, being whimsical, whether that's in dress or play, getting up and dance, that type of thing. Being whimsical helps to nourish the mind and the soul in ways that other things don't. So those are my rants today. That's my rant basically today. I'm gonna go pick my food up now. If you get nothing else from this video, I want you to get the fact that nourishing yourself is a personal journey. It looks many ways. I talk about it through the lens of food, but there are so many ways you can nourish yourself. So if you do nothing else, remember to nourish yourself one moment at a time, but when it comes to food, one bowl at a time. See you around for the next one.